Hi, Mom. I'm out this morning. It's Thursday, I think, and I'm going to feed my birds. And I thought you might want to check that out. Just a little quick video. I've got a family of ravens. Oop. Oh, they're right above me. Okay, you can hear them talking to each other and making clicking sounds, and they're up there harassing the vultures who are circling over the property. And one thing I do in hopes of luring some ravens down to the property is to set out some roasted peanuts, which are their favorite, and then a couple of baubles there, a couple of shinies. Those are just some cheap toy rings, but they're made out of metal, and ravens love to collect that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping they'll see that and fly down here. Usually either the blue jays or the foxes get the peanuts, and you can tell if there's a bunch of eaten peanuts around here that the foxes got to them. But I'll know the ravens have come down and had peanuts if the rings are all gone. They usually don't come out here if the dog is around, but anyway, so that's one of the places where I feed the birds, right there with peanuts. And those are just roasted, unsalted peanuts, which are a bird's favorite, and crows and ravens love them, and so do the foxes. So here's my little bird feeding area. It's got a couple of features to it. So it's right on the edge here, away from the residence. That's good. I don't want a bunch of birds pooping on everything over by where I live. And it's right on the edge here, so they can all stage in this area and then come up and get fed. My towhees, there's a towhee right there. Let's see if I can get him in the frame. Where are you, little towhee? You are right there. That's a little rufous-sided towhee, looking very fat. Very fat. He's probably been living in there for a while and eating all this high-quality bird seed. And that's a cool little bird. That's one of my favorites. When they come out into the dirt, they jump around and scratch around like little chickens. He might actually come up here. Let's see. You gonna come up here? What are you doing? Maybe. Sometimes they make their way up and through that area and come out on the dirt here. So, okay, so what do we have here? Well, we've got an oak tree that I had to cut down because it was growing toward the power lines. So I sacrificed it and dug a big hole there and stuffed it in the hole and put these rocks around it. And so the birds have a place to come in and land and find cover before they jump down here and get the bird seed. And that's important to them because I have a Cooper's hawk that will come right over into this area and hunt birds. So they need a place to fly in and get close to the bird seed, check stuff out, and make sure they're not being hunted at the same time, because I don't try to stop the Cooper's hawk from doing his thing. And then there's this apparatus. It's actually two different things. It's this board and these two trunks here, and that's all just made out of stuff that I cut down from the house in town. This other thing is another bush that I had to cut out in the front yard at the house. And then that's like a little fence board there and a couple of fence boards, and just kind of screwed it all together, and makes a really neat place for the birds to eat, and they don't have to, and I didn't have to throw it away. I didn't have to throw that stuff away. So a bunch of rocks down here, and so I'll put bird seed all over this area here and down on the rocks there, and on the stump here where I've got more peanuts, and then I'll put some other feed down here on the ground for the birds that like to eat off the ground. Here's their little bird bath, little saucer, terracotta saucer. You can see how cold it got last night. There's the frozen water that I dumped off before I refilled it. And then this deal right here is a dead manzanita that died in the last fire. And I've stuffed it in the ground here next to this pole, which is a pole that's left over from the fence that was here when I bought the property. And this manzanita is unique, I guess I should say I put it in here intentionally because it has a lot of branches that are vertical. Most of the branches here are mostly vertical, and that is to allow birds that are genetically programmed to perch on the side of a branch like this, the ability to come in and take cover in this before they decide if they're going to go down to the ground and feed. And the birds that that must perch on branches that are like this, they actually have, their bodies are set up so that one leg can be down below the other and they can stand up sort of straight. So that's what this whole deal is for, is that kind of bird that has to, they're like, I don't know, forget what they're called, but several different species, but they're side perching birds. So that's what this is for. And that's one of the remaining poles right there out of the whole fence mess that was here, and I decided to leave it so that I can maybe put a birdhouse up there, or another platform for feed for birds that want to be a little bit higher up in the air when they eat. I don't know, but I wanted one final pole to be able to use to for as bird enrichment over here, and so that's why that's there. So so this is where I feed the birds, and they're all kind of trying to move in. See, that's what a towhee should look like. That's what a towhee should look like. That other towhee was really fat towhee, but you can see he's back there in the shade. There he is, right there. So they're coming in, and they think I've already put the feed down because I'm just standing around here, but you can see how close I can get to them. I'm 10 feet away. I've never messed with them at all, and so they're happy to come out and do little bird stuff. So let's go look at the bird seed. This gives you an idea of how I sort of put this stuff out here. So for the birds themselves, I'll build a combination of stuff, including sunflower seeds, additional sunflower seeds, and these aren't too terribly expensive, so you can you can give them a lot of these and they'll eat them all. And then this is just regular wild bird seed. From Ace. So a couple of scoops of that. And then I like to do a cup of scratch grains. Little view off the side of that. Okay. So a little cup of scratch grains right there into the scooper there. And then I also do a cup of that, and that's a 21% game bird food mix, and they're just little crumbles. So that makes a nice big scooper full of food. Shake it down and get it all mixed in there. Okay, so this is step one. And just come over here and quietly put this stuff in here. Put a little bit up here. Like that. And come around to this side. Put a little bit up in here. And maybe some over here. Right there. And come here like this. Go in and lay some more of this sunflower seed in there. Okay. Step one. Now, come in here and feed him some bugs. And those are black soldier fly larvae. And it's a pest. But they raise them. Actually, I don't even know if this is a pest. It's probably not a pest. Not like a mealworm's a pest, but they raise them. And then I think they freeze dry them or something. But anyway, really good source of calcium. Tons of calcium for the birds. I just try to put them in little piles, so if you're a bird that doesn't like these, you don't have to eat them. Put some up here. Those are always a favorite. And that is step two. And the last thing I do is build another scoop for the birds on the ground. And that is 2 scoops of scratch grain. And then a scoop of game bird feed. 21% crumble. Give that a good shake, mix it all up. Very eager birds. So we come over here, and then I try not to put it in the same place every time, but you just shake out a little bit of it like this. And I learned something interesting. It's much better to put it out in a straight line like this, and they'll come up along the side and feed from it. But in the interest of making a more efficient way for them to feed, I tried putting it out in a S pattern so that more of them could come up along it at once, and they did need it. They did need it. Can you guess why? I'll give you a minute to think about it. It was like, sort of went like this. Well, they wouldn't need it because it would look like a snake from where they were, up in this tree and over there. And some birds are stupid, but it was in such a pattern on the ground here that for days they wouldn't even come to the feeder. They wouldn't eat from the feeder. They wouldn't eat from the ground. And I finally had to bring the hose over here and hose it all down and hose all this down, and it all turned into mud basically, and start over. And so I put all the seed out and did all the thing, and just like I did, and then I put it in a straight line, and they came back immediately and were happy to be eating from that area again, and no problems. Everything got eaten in a couple of hours. So that's what I lay out for them. And see my little, where'd you go? Where are you? Oh. There he is. There's my little towhee. So I can probably stand right here and they will come in to feed. I might try that because they're getting close, especially this guy, like right here. They want to come up here, I can tell. Can't quite get it together though. Little sparrows back there. I mean, this is really, really close for birds. They're like 6 feet away from me. Yeah, I think every bird has a favorite place to eat. They all seem to enjoy a kind of a different place depending on species, but closely, just depending on the individual bird. And it's important to, spread the seed out a little bit and give them multiple places to eat or multiple surfaces to eat. Because, for instance, pecking seed off of that rock there, these various rocks here, help to keep their beaks sharp. And that's not something that they would get if they were just eating off the board here. Eating off the stump allows them to pick up certain beneficial bacteria from the wood surface there as it decomposes. And eating off the ground here allows them to also ingest small rocks, which is important for birds. Those rocks need to go down into their tummies and help them break down the seeds and digest their food. This guy's really close. I don't know if I caught that, but there's a little tufted titmouse that's coming up right here. I think he's grabbing sunflower seeds, but we'll see. But he seems to be coming right back to here. I'm going to leave the camera trained on that spot, just in case he comes back. If I have to hang out here for too long, I'll just edit this part out. Hope he comes back. It's a cool little bird. Little punk rock mohawk haircut. And small. Something scared him away. Nobody's coming around. So the mourning doves don't want anything to do with this when I'm this close. They're very skittish, and they'll wait until I'm all the way across the yard. But it looks like either I scared them away or something scared them away, so I'm just going to go ahead and stop filming. Well, that's my bird scene, Mom, and hope you got something out of that. Love you very much. Bye-bye.